I'm Little Calvi, and this is my 1967 Volkswagen Fastback. I bought this car when I was 18 years old. It was actually my first car. I saved up all through high school to get it and bought it at Bugorama, if you've ever been there. It's a big air-cooled Volkswagen car show and race and swap meet. So yeah, this was my sole form of transportation for about 2 years. Got me to my job at Home Depot, got me to college, got me anywhere I wanted to go with my stinky friends. And it's been kind of sort of sitting for a number of years, and then really sitting for the past 2 or 3 years. Yeah, the last time I drove this car was about 3 years ago. I was teaching my girlfriend, now fiance, how to drive stick shift, and I left a spark plug wire unplugged, and it fried the electronic ignition module. So it kind of sat outside of my parents' house for a while, got devoured by mice. Basically what my plan is for this is I have dragged it over to my house because I have a garage now, and I'm going to try to get this car running. I have less than a month until Duct Tape Drags in Tucson, and what I'm going to do is pull this down there and race it if I can get it going and operable. So yep, here we go. So I'm going to do a little walk around here and kind of show you the car and show a few of the issues that I have to deal with before I can get this thing at least sort of roadworthy. So a little bit about this. Yeah, this is a 1967 Volkswagen Fastback. A lot of people don't know what this car is, especially younger people like myself. It constantly gets called a Datsun. It is not a Datsun. This is a Volkswagen Type 3 Fastback. The body isn't horrible. It's got some sweet patina starting to happen there. Has my cool rims that I put on it. When I started working on this car, I was 18 years old and didn't really know what I was doing, but was learning, so it was great for that. But now it's in kind of rough shape, and we're gonna have to do some things kind of sort of the right way. So I'll just kind of walk you around. Nothing wrong up here except for this tire. I don't know if you can tell, but it's going flat. And it continues to go flat. I have to fill it up like every 2 days, but we're not going to worry about that because that isn't a right now issue. The other thing, one other thing that's going to keep us from getting this to the races is this cracked windshield. You can see this crack that follows the dust line I just drew. Was trying to change out the windshield gasket. Pretty much every seal for a window or a door on this car leaks, but I was trying to change out the windshield, and I did a no-no and started and ended in the corner, and we almost had it in, and then it cracked right there. So I have a new windshield, but they will not let you race at Duct Tape Drags under NHRA rules with a cracked windshield. Even though this has been like this, and I drove it like this for, I mean, a couple of years, we're gonna have to get that changed out, or find a creative way to cover it up, which I don't think is going to happen. So got to get some rubber for that, but I do have a windshield. Second thing, as you can see, the inside of this car is gutted. I actually had some really nice interior that you can see down here under my other Volkswagen project. You can see these seats are actually pretty nice and upholstered, but I let this car sit at my mom and dad's house, we'll open her up here, for a few years after I fried the ignition, and the mice got to it. Super, super bad. So I'm kind of in the process of cleaning it up, ripping out all the carpet, which is actually still very nice, but is really mousy, so we're gonna have to wash that. Yeah, tore out the headliner. The one mistake I made when I was a young lad is I got this car, I had really ratty interior, had t-shirts covering up the seats, and I thought, man, I need to get some cool interior so I can, you know, get the chicks and be a badass. And what I did is I covered up a bunch of rust that you can see here on the floor, and before I changed out all the leaky window gaskets, I did all this interior work. So the car continued to leak water, and basically my carpet just soaked up a bunch of rainwater. So if we look over here, squeeze in here, as you can see, there's a lot of daylight coming through. This floor pan on the passenger side I found when I pulled up the carpet is really, really rotten.
back here in the battery box as well. So that is going to have to get fixed, but maybe not before the races. We might be able to just cover that up, and hopefully they won't notice. So it's still like structural. I probably drove it around like this for a while without knowing that there were big holes. They were just pinholes before that I ignored and put foil tape over. But we're going to maybe try to deal with that. Get some new pans, at least on this side. This side that my big stinky foot is on looks pretty good. If we come around back here, we'll find the engine bay. Let me get a flashlight real quick so we can actually see what's happening here. There we go. So this is what the back of the car looks like. It's lovingly nicknamed Fasty. And what's going on here is we've got an engine back here, and actually this is a very high performance engine as far as air-cooled VWs go. This is a 2180cc flat 4 air-cooled VW motor. It's the same thing you'd find in a Bug or a Bus, and I actually built this motor a couple years back. This is the first performance motor I ever built, and it probably makes about 100. Yeah, I think when I downloaded it made 140 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but for a VW that's actually quite a bit since this car weighs less than a ton. So as you can see, the engine is super gross and dirty, just looking not so hot. I have the carburetors off of it right now. It has dual carburetors because the mice were just in here awful. You can see all the poo and stuff back there. But so I actually am working on rebuilding those. And the other thing is inside this distributor here, my electronic ignition burnt out because, like I said earlier, I was helping teach my fiance how to drive a stick shift, and I left a spark plug wire unplugged when I tuned it up right before. So these little modules don't do so hot. You leave a plug wire unplugged and it'll just arc back through and fry it. So that's what's going on there. But this actually is a running engine once I can get those carbs back on, get a new ignition in it, and get a battery. And maybe clean it up a little bit. Turn off this light. All in all, though, this is actually a very cool car. I used to get a lot of comments driving it around, but it's sitting here in kind of a sorry state. I mean, you can see how the freaking rubber looks right now. I mean, I can just rip that apart if I want to. But not too shabby. It's got dents and rust and stuff, but really not too bad. So today is September 6th, which gives us 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks to get it running before Duct Tape Drags. And I think it's just shitty enough to race there, and I think I can do it. I ran before, was a great car, but I'm just going to do the bare minimum that I need to do. Change out the windshield, get the engine running again, put some seats back in it once I vacuumed out the remainder of the mouse poo, and cover up those rust holes so they don't disqualify me. So we'll try to give her a shot, get it going, and if we can, tow her down to Tucson and do some racing. Woo doggy!
So at this point, our little friend Calvin forgot to turn on the microphone, so he's giving me permission to narrate all this footage. Wow, I'm Calvin. I'm dumb and I don't know how to turn on the microphone. This is a carburetor. Wow, I let the mice get in this one. Yeah. Look, ooh, here's my sweet fish scale looking manifolds that are really cool looking, and they're also fish scales. And there's my engine that I didn't do them right, so they weren't flat. So my manifolds let in the air, so I had my coworker mill them down, and now the carbs and the and now they rest flat. I also got these black velocity stacks because I had these really gross ones for a long time, and I don't know why I don't know why I kept using them. So I also need to hog these babies out because they aren't the same size as the port on my engine. And so I'm going to use this sweet gasket that is sweet, and I'm going to trace out where I need to hog them out. Here I am. I'm good at coloring. My mommy says I'm very good at coloring. You know what I'm not good at, though, is turning on the microphone for the camera, even though I just had to turn a little switch and make sure the levels were showing that it was on. So here's the black all in there, and now I can use my thighs and my X-Acto to trace out the line of the gaskets for future hogging outs. Look at that. That's precision work. That is precision work, folks. Look at them go. I mean, look at me go. There they are, ready to be hogged out, baby. There's the hogging tool. I'm not going to use any proper terminology. I'm just going to call this hogging out. Ah, nerd. Can't turn on the mic and you can't use the vice clamp, grip, clamp. Here we go. Hog style. Hog tie him down using a drill to hog out the hog. Look at him go. I mean, look at me go. I'm Calvin. I can't turn on the microphone. So I got to finger it, and then it's not good enough, apparently. Not good enough for the chef. The chef special. So I use that gasket, and look at that. He's a master at using a drill, but not a master at turning on the microphone. Here comes more hogging. More hog. more hog action. Oh, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Just, oh, yeah, I bet you do that to your bunghole every night. He's hogging it out like he hogs out his bunghole every night. But look at that. She's ready to roll, baby. It's just like the music for the intro. It's called Roll. He's ready to roll. Look at that. It's hogged out. And now it's cute as a whistle. Here, and here's the other one. I didn't include as much footage because you already saw enough of me being an idiot with a microphone. But at least I know how to turn my microphone on, so I got that going for me, right? Look at that. Beautiful. It's precision craftsmanship, only the finest by Ryobi, or whoever made that drill. Bunghole, I'm Calvin. Ooh.
All right. So, we've got our carburetors rebuilt. We got our intakes milled down and ported out. So now it's time to slap these babies in here. All right, so before I slap these carbs on, I've got to vacuum out the ports on the heads because they are full of dirt and stuff that the mice knocked in. So we got the old shop back here, and we're gonna sucker on out. All right, let's see how she did. I can't seem to get all the crap out of these intakes. The hose here is just too big, so we're gonna create ourselves an attachment. So this is what I call the Suckmaster Daddy 9000. You take a piece of hose that'll fit where you want it to go, and we'll take her and we'll shove her down this shop vac hose here. I wouldn't dare cut it shorter because I don't want to waste good hose. Then we take our handy dandy roll of duct tape. And this is professional stuff here. I mean, you gotta really know what you're doing when you're making a custom tool like this. You know, this is like some good NASCAR stuff. And create an airtight seal for maximum suckage. All right, so now we have this sweet reducer because I'm too cheap to buy shop vac attachments. We've got our sad dog in the background, which is always something you need. Huh. And let's try her out. Oh yeah. She's a runner. So basically, we're just gonna shove this bad boy down in there and try to get all that little stuff. All right, let's see what she did. Well, I can't seem to get my Q-tip down there and knock everything loose because it's just not long enough. So we're gonna use a screwdriver, some more duct tape to create the Extendo Tip 9554. This is even higher level stuff. You take your good long screwdriver and your Q-tip, and you just take a little bit of duct tape here. And you gotta be real careful when you do things like this because who knows what could happen. If we tear off a little piece of our tape here, we stick it onto our stew driver there. Take this bad boy and stick him on. Fold these little guys together, right? We don't want this flap here because we're not trying to surrender. We don't want a little flag. So we're just gonna and there we go. Now we've got whatever I just called this Extendo Daddy. So let's give her a try. Well, we did a mediocre job sucking out the ports, and I'm happy with it. If I can't scrape it off with a toothpick or a tooth scraper or suck it up with the Extendo Suck Daddy 9000, then I'm guessing it won't suck down the engine. Or maybe it will and we'll just forget about it. It's all pretty small stuff, but I just want to keep as much as I can out of my rings. That one valve was open and it was kind of rusty in there, so I do worry that maybe there's something down in there, but I don't own a borescope, so Jesus is going to be our borescope and we're just going to send her. Okay, I know I said Jesus was going to be our borescope, but I got one more idea to get that rusty kind of crud out of there. And now, this is really high level stuff. So you take your finger, the one that'll reach down all the way to the bottom, that's one. And then you want to take this tape and sticky side out. You want to very carefully just kind of go like this and create the sticky finger. Now, the sticky finger can slip off. So now what you got to do, sticky finger, I messed that one up. Let's take some more duct tape and go. Oh! Get dog hair stuck all over your sticky finger. You want to take some more duct tape and sticky side in. You want to stick your sticky finger to your finger. So now it can't come off. And I dropped it on the ground, so it's lost some of its stick. But I'm just going to feel around in there and try to stick whatever dirt is down in there to the sticky finger. I think she's going to work. All right, now we're going to put our studs back in these manifolds. You actually have to put the carbs on the manifolds and then put the manifolds in because there's just not a lot of space down in that engine bay. It's pretty tight. So we're going to use a little red Loctite. All right, so we got our studs put in our manifolds, got the carbs on. I set them at the recommended settings for the idle air mixture and the idle screws and all that good stuff. So we're ready to slap these bad boys on. Yeah. All right, we're gonna throw on our gaskets. We got one on, and we got two on. Now for the carburetors. All right, and it's kind of tight to get these bad boys on. So we got these itty bitty little nutskis. I'm gonna keep it going. Take that, Stephanie. Edit that shit, you motherfucker. 10mm. Gotta get the long extension because it just makes it real nice and easy. That one down there started. Trust me, if there's a guy who knows a thing or two about little tiny nuts, it's this guy. Ah. I'm not gonna record this because no one wants to watch me struggle with a nut for a half hour. Well, we got one on there. Excuse the bad lighting. But as you can see, these bolts are just like really hidden down in there. It's that one that the light's on right now. So I can't really film it. Got one carb on. Time to do the next one. All right. Carb number 2 going on. You know what would be hilarious? Is if you put a timer on this, because I guarantee I have the world record slowest carburetor install. Wow, I can actually get to it from right down here. My last intake bolt goes on from under the car. Better than I can from the top. I can just get some threads on, which I just did. I think we're in business, ladies and germs. And you know what I didn't think to do? Was pull the plugs before I did this. What's even harder than putting the carbs on is getting the plugs out of this fucking thing. I had to make a special socket just to do it. Okay. We'll snug her down.
It's got a carb and a carb. Now we got to hook up the linkage, which goes to this little center pole thing. So basically how the linkage works in this is the pedal's connected to a cable and it twists this little twisty guy back and forth. And then I have these little linkage bars that go to there and there on the carburetors. And you gotta get them perfectly even so the carbs work the same and that one side's not held open further than the other. But you have two of these, you attach them to each carb. So we're gonna do that right now. All right, so we got both of our carburetors and intakes on. And the next step, before we hook up this linkage, I only have it hooked to this carburetor. I haven't hooked it up to the pedal or done anything on this carburetor because I kind of want to set the idle before I put the linkage on. But the next step is to pop the cap on this here distributor and replace the module with this guy that I've had sitting around for probably, I don't know, 2 years. So we're gonna open her up and try to get it put in, and this is actually used, so hopefully it still works. Looks like the one that I had, and it's got a little bit of burnt wire here, so we'll throw some tape on that. Throw some tape on this bad boy and try to plug it in. Oh, you know what? I do know how this happened. This was on a dyno mule engine, and I'm guessing the wires probably just fell because it was dyno mule and everything was exposed. So, oh yeah. So I'll just pop these plug wires. Actually, we'll just take this whole cap off. All right, got that exposed. We'll unplug it. Red goes to positive, black goes to negative. We'll pop off the rotor, which looks not too shabby. Take off the little trigger wheel, and looks like the same thing. Hopefully the wheel and everything is the same. I guess I have replacements. So we'll get our flathead screwdriver that I left over here. Here, actually, you know what? Oops. I take this guy out, and it's super easy. You just get in there, take out this one little screw, and then this guy, can't really see, there you go, just lifts right out. And then get this split loom stuff off of here. And then take this guy and pull on it. Bada boom. Old module's out. Pretty sure this is fried. Bye bye. So then next, take our new one here. I probably shouldn't be filming any of this stupid me feeding wires through things. I don't think anybody wants to watch this. Bada boom. And there's like a little nub on the bottom of this, and you can kind of see where the little nub goes in. It goes into like this little hole. Nub locks it into place. Alright, so we got the new module in. Got our distributor back together. Just gotta snap the cap back on. When you don't have a camera in your hand, it takes about 5 minutes to do that. Alright, so we got the cap back on. But as you can see, these wires are just nasty. So I'm gonna pull off these wires and clean them, because you can have dirty plug wires. So when you got distributor wires that are, I guess, what are they, spark plug wires that are as sweet and red as these ones, you gotta clean them up. So we got our mineral spirits, our rag, real high-end stuff. Alright, we'll do this one with the electrical tape on it first. Here's the before. Ew. I think when I was running this on the dyno, I had these wires way too long. I think they might still actually be a little too long. And it laid on the header and burned a hole, and that's why I have tape on this. But it wasn't too bad. It just a little burn into the rubber, or the rubber coating. We're probably adding, I don't know, I'd say 5 horsepower for every plug we clean here. I just don't want all the cool Duct Tape Drags car guys to laugh at me when they see that I've got dirty plug wires, you know? I mean, we can't be riding around like that. Holes in the floor, yeah. Look at that. Clean and beautiful. I'm gonna do the rest.
It's really sad how much I let this car go. I mean, I still do, but I used to freaking love the crap out of this thing. You know, like I said, I used to drive it every day, and you know, I spent a lot of time researching how to build this engine and learning from guys who know way more than I ever will, and I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in myself that I let it get this way. I think I'm going to have to do a lot of work on this car in the future because the way it's sitting is not so great, and it deserves to be a very cool car. I only have a few weeks, and I'm spacing these videos out every couple of days as I have time. And I'm spending my time making my spark plug wires red again. There we go. Now the cool kids won't make fun of me. Oh yeah. Now there were some red spark plug wires. Alright. Well, we got the cap on, got all the plug wires hooked up, got the ignition done. The last thing to do is slap a battery in this thing and hook up the fuel lines and see if this baby will fire up. And actually, before I even put this battery in, I better check my freaking oil. I'm pretty sure I changed it right before this car went down, but it's been sitting there for a while. And I just want to make sure that it's still in good shape. Let's give this a try. So this oil is as clean as can, fresh as shit. I'm pretty sure I cleaned it right before. You can see the green brad pen right where it needs to be, so I think we're good there. But man, that stuff is like, it looks like antifreeze. I mean, very, very clean. So this car should have a dipstick hole right here, but I was never cool enough to install it when I put the big motor in here. So anyways, I think we're good to go on the oil. And now, last thing before we give her a try, gotta put the battery in. And I don't have a working battery for this thing. I let it sit too long. So if you've watched the video where we get the Quadravan started, this is the same camper battery that we used to get that going when the battery died. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're just gonna hook this bad boy up. Just temporarily. And we'll see if she runs. So this car has a gas tank up under the hood, and I don't know if it has gas or not. I'm gonna shake it. Oop. Knock the tripod over. I'm gonna shake it and listen, and we'll see if I hear anything. Oh, I hear gas. Alright, I've got an electric fuel pump hooked up in this thing. So, I'm gonna go turn the key and see if she pumps. I think I hear it pumping. I definitely hear it pumping. So we'll let her pump for a sec. We'll see if we get some squirt action if the carb's prime. Come on. Oh, I'm squirting on this side. Yep, there we go. And we got a little bit of squirter malfunction over here, but that's okay. Alright. Got a little bit of fuel in each one. We're going to see if she lights off. I also don't have my muffler on right now, so it's going to be open headers, nice and loud, or nothing. But hopefully this battery's got enough juice in her. Alright, I'm pretty sure that I was having some issues with the battery, so we're going to give her a go again. Alright, charger's been on for a while, so we're gonna give her one more try. Let's see what she does. Come on, baby. Whoa, horn off. She's not real happy about it. Ugh. So we're gonna leave her here for a few minutes and let her charge, and then we'll come back. Alright. So I gave her about 15 minutes on the charger. Put another battery on. Let's try her again. Uh-oh. There we go. Crank it. That's a good sign. We're gonna put some juicy down the holes and see if that helps. Alright. Ready? Here we go. It's trying. I think we need to let it sit for just a little bit more. And I think she'll crank up. Okay, it's been sitting for about 5 minutes on the start, so we're gonna shoot a little more juice. Now we're gonna give it a try. Let's see if it at least fires. Here we go. Well, it cranks pretty quick. Distributor caps on. Plug wires are hooked up. Should be all plugged in. I just hope this ignition isn't a dud. I don't know. I'm gonna turn these idle screws out a few cranks too, just to really get her open. Alright, we got it significantly more open now, so let's try again. I want to say we're not getting any spark, because that should have at least fired. I know it's got gas. Yep, I reckon we're not getting any spark. So, we'll bust one out here. I'll get a helper and we'll give her a try. Alright, so I got a helper and I got a spark plug on here. We're gonna see if we've actually got spark. So, are you ready? Mm-hmm. And hit it. All right, we have no spark. Okay, go ahead and turn the key off. And then let's try it one more time. So go ahead and turn the key on and crank it. Hold on. Off. Try one more spot. And go. All right. That's good. Yep, she's not working. All right. We're going to need another ignition. So, like I talked about earlier, my windshield has a giant crack. So, I have a plan, but first we got to get this windshield out of here. So, we're going to make it happen. Usually I think you have to cut these out, but since I never got this one all the way in, I was able to kind of just do this. And I don't really care about this windshield. I don't think we have the tool, but think I might have seen a car out front with a toolbox in it.